There's less than 10 days left. Find out how you can be involved with this 8th annual event. Coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning with the Myrtle Beach Herald. We're focused on the 8th annual BILO Myrtle Beach Marathon to be held on Saturday, February 19th. And we're visiting with Shaun Walsh, the president and race director. Good morning, Shaun.
Good morning. Great to be here.
Thanks so much for coming in. I hope I got that date right.
Yes, indeed. February the 19th for the big race, but the festivities start on the 17th with the expo and go all the way through this year until February the 20th.
Is that right? So Thursday through Sunday.
Yes, indeed. Like I say, we kick off on Thursday night with the expo, and that's where a lot of the runners and the participants will come in and pick up their race packets, their race numbers, and their chip for their shoe, which takes care of their timing electronically. Then Friday we also have the expo continues, and the expo is going to be held at the Holiday Inn Oceanfront, down by the Family Kingdom. Then Saturday night we start the racing, and we start off with the 1 mile family fun run, which is run through Ripley's Aquarium, also sponsored by Ripley's Aquarium. And that's a lot of fun. We'll have maybe 1,100 to 1,200 kids running through under the sharks and off over to the stadium. Yeah. Then at 6 o'clock we have the RBC Centura 5K race, which is 3.1 miles for those still in the imperial distances. And that's a great race. That we started that last year. Then Saturday morning on the 19th, we get started with the marathon relay, and the half marathon. And then Sunday, we have the cycling events, which are brand new to the events this year.
Wow.
Yeah, this year with the cycling, we have 3 events. We have a 10-mile ride, a 30-mile ride, and then what we call a metric century, which is 100 kilometers, but 63 miles.
63 miles.
Yes, indeed. And that's actually right now is our most popular event.
Is that right? Folks will do it all in one day.
Absolutely, absolutely. We've got the serious folks come out and do that, and then we've got the 10 mile there for folks that maybe just want to come out and ride as a family, right? And then the 30 mile for people that want a little more of a challenge, but don't want to go as far as the full distance. Kind of like with our marathon, we have the full marathon, which is 26.2 miles. Right. We have the half marathon, which we added a couple of years ago, which is extremely popular. That's basically sold out. That's 13.1 miles, and then the 5-person marathon relay, and we have a brand new sponsor for that this year. It's Michelob Ultra, and that's 4 legs of 5 miles and one of 6.2, and that allows folks from maybe businesses, families, in different areas to get together and compete in the marathon, but not have to go the full distance. Right, sure.
And going the full distance is really a trek for a lot of folks.
Absolutely. It's a time commitment in terms of training. It may take if you already have some semblance of fitness, you may take you 3 months to build up to the full 26 miles. For those that may be starting from scratch, maybe 4 or 5 months. So that's a heck of a time commitment to say, well, I want to go and do the marathon, especially in Myrtle Beach. So a half marathon is great, or the relay, which is only 5 miles or 6 miles.
Right, sure, sure. And are you seeing a lot of local folks participating in the relays?
Absolutely. The reason we started the relay was because we had the hotels, we had the restaurants, we had the golf courses here. We thought, well, those employees there may not have the time to train, but let's get them out into a team sport. And the first year in 1998, when we started, we thought, well, how many folks are actually going to show up? Well, we had 225 teams show up the first year, which is over 1,000 folks. So that was wonderful, and that had grown every year. Now it's starting to slow down a little bit because we have these other events and we're offering these other challenges for people to come out and try.
I think you'd said the 13-mile one's almost, did you say sold out? Or?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, the first year this is only the 3rd year for the half marathon. The first year we capped it at 1,000 folks, and we sold out that year. Then last year we capped it at 1,500, and we sold out that year. This year we've capped it at 2,500, and we've basically sold out this year for that as well.
Right. And when you say sold out, you mean you can't take more runners?
No, we won't take any more runners. And the reason being is that we have to order our T-shirts so far in advance and our race medals, and we have to do our planning for the course in terms of our water and Powerade that we have out on the course for the runners. And if we get to a point later in the year where we don't have time to adjust our numbers, then folks are going to be disappointed with us. So we always like to make sure that everybody leaves the Myrtle Beach Marathon happy. Yes. And everybody gets their medal, everybody gets the T-shirt that they wanted, everybody can get into any of the post-race celebrations that we have, and so we have to have a point of no return. So so we say 2,500, and that way we can have a firm figure on, okay, this is the number we're going to order for all of the other products that we need.
Do you also have a maximum number of folks that could be in the marathon itself?
Absolutely. Our marathon cutoff is 2,000 right now, and we increase that every year in terms of a percentage based upon popularity and so forth. So that's 2,000 for that. And the cycling events, for instance, we're taking a maximum this year of 300 because it's a new event for us. It's new for our volunteers. We want to see how it's going to work out. The 5K, we have a maximum of 500 in that. The fun run, the maximum this year is 1,500. I can remember the first days we ran that, we had 150 folks. We've increased that rather nicely. And then the relay, 300 teams. So.
Right. How tremendous. Exciting for you, Shaun, to have seen the growth in such a short amount of time.
Absolutely. Who would have thought that Little Myrtle Beach could go from having basically no runners that you would see around town to now all year long. I drive around the streets of Myrtle Beach and there's always somebody out exercising now. But we went from 2,400 folks in the first year, and now we may just tip over the 7,000 person mark this year.
That's tremendous.
It really is. It's just a testament to the core committee and then the volunteers that come out on the Saturdays, the Fridays and the Saturdays and now the Sundays to help us out. It takes over 1,200 volunteers to actually say, okay, I'm going to make a time commitment to come out and help with the marathon. Then we've got another 300 medical volunteers that come out. And you know, it's not one of those things where you just stand there for a couple of hours and then off you go. I mean, you're out there possibly from 6 o'clock in the morning to maybe 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and depending on what you're doing and where you are on the course. So again, we couldn't do this alone. There's absolutely no way.
1,200 volunteers.
And then I haven't even included the city personnel, the folks at the city who are kind enough to get up at midnight with us and put the cones out in the water stations and so forth. Then the police that man the major intersections and make sure that everybody gets through and nobody gets hurt and nobody gets too delayed to make their tea time.
And there's a lot of those folks who are out to golf and are doing other amazing things in the area.
Absolutely. I mean, Myrtle Beach is not just a running mecca at that time, as much as we like to think it is. So we try and keep traffic flows and traffic interruptions to an absolute minimum around the course. So we don't actually, there's only maybe a small part of 29th Avenue that's ever closed, but the rest of the course is open to traffic. All we ask is that folks be patient those days and say, well, okay, the marathon's here, just allow a little extra time to get to where you need to go if you have to cross through the course at all.
Definitely. Shaun, real quick about yourself. Are you originally from the area?
No. No, not originally. Born and raised in New Zealand, and a little town called Wanganui, a little off the beaten track, and then went to school in Wellington, which is the capital. And then decided there might be more out there in the world to see. So then I graduated from school in New Zealand, went to a school in Texas for a couple of years, and ran track and cross country there, and had a wonderful time. And then met the coach at the time from Coastal Carolina University, Jim Costa, and we spoke, and he hired me to come and be an assistant coach at Coastal Carolina University, which was one of the greatest things I ever did. Went to the University of South Carolina and graduate school, and worked and went to school at the same time, and then Coastal Carolina employed me for a number of years to help coach, and then in some other capacities out there at the institution, and just loved the folks, and that was really the catalyst to get the marathon started. And,
the experience at Coastal.
Absolutely.
How's that?
Well, I was involved, obviously, with track and cross country, and then another part of one of my jobs was student retention, and looking for ways to get the university more entwined into the community, as football is really done now, but and ways to really get the university to say, well, we'll help out with the community, and started the event. So naively. We started the marathon, and had great support from the university, great support from the freshman classes that year, great support from the fraternities and the sororities out there, also the sports teams, and that allowed us to have the confidence to say, well, we need X number of volunteers. Well, right away I've got hundreds of volunteers right here at the university, and then our first website was based at the university, and the IT folks out there helped us out with that because we had no idea what to do with that, and then just it really has blossomed from there. And the university still gives us great support with people power, and sending the folks out from there, and the professors out there that help us out with different things in terms of economic impact and creating new events, and saying, have you thought about doing things this way? And constantly trying to evolve the event into a better event.
That's fantastic. And are you still involved at Coastal, or have you left? Are you a full-time race director?
No, no. I'm no longer at Coastal, although I like to go out there when I can and still help out with the track program when I'm invited. But now I'm a financial advisor with Edward Jones.
Is that right? Great.
And have enjoyed that, been with them for 6 years. And
6 years now? So you left Coastal and went directly with Edward Jones?
Absolutely, yes. And always looking for a new challenge.
Yeah, what do you do in that position, Shaun?
I help individuals with their financial goals. We handle stocks and bonds and mutual funds and retirement plans and so forth, and really like to sit down with folks, and it's just like coaching or developing an event, sit down and find out what somebody wants to do and where they want to go and where are they now, and we map a course for them to reach those goals, as we did with athletes and as I do with the marathon also.
Sure.
It's wonderful, and Edward Jones is a wonderful company to work for because it also affords me the time to be able to do some of the things that I need to do with the marathon as well. Where, as a regular 9-to-5 job, you can't do that. But with this particular position, I'm able to get out there and meet folks when I need to on a lot of their schedules because they have that flexibility.
Right. So Edward Jones has been very supportive of you reaching out and taking on this huge commitment as president and race director. Oh,
absolutely. We have a large community presence now, and we're always looking for ways to integrate ourselves too, always giving back to the community, and whether it be through our advice or through our actions to create events or to raise money for charities. Life is good right now.
Yes, you must be feeling good. And what's it like now? We're right at 10 days from when folks will be rolling in town, a little less, with folks arriving on the 17th.
Absolutely. This is where the panic starts, actually. For the committee, we say, okay, we feel like we've planned everything that we need to, but there's always something that every year, it never ceases to amaze me how we may miss something, but we always have somebody that'll back us up, and we go into crisis management and we get it fixed, and people that actually come to the event don't know of maybe some of the strife that's out there. Absolutely. And like I say, we have a great committee. And
share with viewers a little about some of the committee members that have been on board since the get-go, or other ones that have come on strong.
Right. Well, we had Nancy O'Connor, who was at the time was the parks superintendent at the city, and she was wonderful. And this year we just lost her to the city of North Las Vegas.
North Las Vegas?
Yes.
Oh, no.
We were very disappointed to see her go, and she was really a huge driving force behind the event. But we've replaced her with a couple of great people. We also have Dr. Mark Shacker, who's an allergist here in town.
Yes.
He was one of the folks who came on board right at the start. We have Lynn Weldon, who's a teacher at Seaside Elementary. And Seaside Elementary, they do a wonderful job. We like to thank Seaside Elementary for all the folks they send to us for the fun run.
Absolutely.
But she's our volunteer coordinator and does a fantastic job. I don't know how she does it, and we can't lose her. We have also Steve Brakefield, who's now in real estate. He handles our 5K. He's our race director for the 5K, and also handles our transportation, because we provide transportation from our host hotels on the morning of the race to get people from the hotels to Coastal Federal Field and then back again afterwards. We also have Terry Layton, who's come on board subsequently as what we call our executive director, and he handles all the day-to-day affairs of answering emails and really does a great job of keeping us organised and keeping us on track.
Year-round, Shaun.
Absolutely. He's year-round, and he's retired, and we keep giving him a pay rise, even though he doesn't get paid at all, but we double his pay every year.
And if you were needed to get in touch with Terry to learn more about, obviously, I guess some of the cutoffs have arrived on many of the events, but surely folks would have been training all year, but just to learn about some of the activities to come down and see the runners. What's the best phone number, and do you all have a website? Oh,
absolutely. The best phone number is 293-RACE. That's 293-7223. Right. And then we have a website which is at mbmarathon.com. And we have all of the information you'd ever need right there to find out about the event. And then on the race number, somebody will get back to you straight away. And you can also email us from the website.
843-293-7223 or www.mbmarathon.com.
That's the one.
That's fantastic. Well, hopefully viewers will take the time to check it out and to see some of the amazing sponsors, Bilo and, of course, Dasani and Michelob Ultra and the Sun News, and It's an incredible list. You almost hate to name any because there's so many great ones.
Absolutely. I mean, without the sponsors, again, we couldn't run this event. Bilo's been with us now. This is their third year, and we're so proud to have them. They're a great partner. The Sani and Powerade, which are Coke products, they're on board, and the folks out there have just been superb. And then we have Michelob Ultra, which we said just came on board as the sponsor of the relay. Ripley's Aquarium that's sponsored the fun run all the way through, RBC Centurial 5K, and then the Myrtle Beach Pelicans. How could I forget the Myrtle Beach Pelicans?
Yes.
Who've come on board to sponsor the cycling event. So
oh, great, good.
That's wonderful. So it's the Pelicans pedal pushers bicycle race. So it's a little bit of a mouthful. And then we have the House of Blues that takes care of our post-race celebration. Ripley's Aquarium that's doing our junior post-race celebration, and the Athlete's Foot that hosts the expo at the Holiday Inn for the 2 days that we're there.
And the expo is open to runners only, or it's open to the community?
Absolutely, runners, just people that spectators, families, anybody that wants to come down. And that's a place where the runners come to pick up their goodies and so forth, but we also have vendors there that are supplying goods for running or health foods, sunglasses. You can find just about anything you want. We also have our own marathon merchandise tent, which we have some wonderful deals and bargains there. So it's a great place to maybe mingle and see what's new in the world of running. And also now, of course, since we've added cycling, one of the local cycling stores will be there also. So that's a great place to be. Then also, by the way, with the website and the 293 race number, if folks want to volunteer, we'd love to have them. Even though we're only 9 or 10 days out, it's still a great. We still need volunteers. We always need volunteers.
Yeah. What are some of the volunteer activities that any of our viewers could be a part of?
Starting with the expo, we have folks that take care of registration, and that'll be handing out the race packets or handing out T-shirts. We have folks at water stations that generally will have community groups that take care of a water station, but we always have gaps there. Street intersections, which is our major bugaboo there, because we have so many intersections that we're going across that we just want to make sure that the runners are safe and the volunteers stand there and just warn the motorists that the runners are coming by. Then we have the children's party where we need some chaperones there and awards and so forth. Finish line, handing out medals and blankets and so forth.
Right.
It's a very rewarding experience. It really is.
I bet. To see some of the runners come in who may be performing their first marathon and, of course, so thrilled, or some of the ones who may not even finish and need that moral support throughout. I'm sure that must be amazing for volunteers.
Absolutely. And then you also have the runners that are competing in what they call the 50-state challenge, where they have to run a marathon in every state. And there's only 2 marathons in South Carolina, ourselves and Kiowa right now. We fit the bill in most cases, so because we're so flat, and it's a fun event. So.
Now, how many folks, you mean 50 marathons a year?
Well, no, actually some folks do that, but some folks over a lifetime want to run a marathon in every state.
Yes. Is there anyone that's capable of running more than a couple of years?
Well, yes, actually there was a gentleman that ran, I believe he ran a marathon on every continent within 7 days just recently, and he was an adventurer from England. Himself and a partner, they ran one. They were trying to run one in Antarctica, but the weather didn't cooperate. So I think they were in Patagonia, then Australia, then in Europe and Asia and so forth, and America. So he did that. But that's in a very extreme case.
Yes,
a very extreme case. Yeah,
that would be. 26.2 miles is, pretty dang hard on a body.
Yes, indeed. I mean, it really takes a lot out of the body, and it really is a different experience in terms of fatigue. We heard of people hitting the wall, and the wall happens at different times. Some people, if you're unlucky enough, you get it at 16 miles. Most people hit it maybe around 20, and that's where the body just basically runs out of fuel. And it depends also on how fast you go and how trained you are. But it's just a wonderful experience to have the body work through that and go on and hit that finish tape and have the joy and the adulation when you cross the finish line of saying, I completed something that only a small population of the world can actually do.
Share with the viewers what it was like for your first marathon, Shaun. You've completed how many now?
12 now, and it was a wonderful experience. I was a miler in college and ran the cross country and had run a number of half marathons, but never ran a marathon. And my first one was in Chicago, and it was a national championship meet while I was in college. And it was a wonderful experience in terms of going out a lot slower than what we normally would for other length races, but I remember getting to mile 22 and saying, okay, this is a little tough now, and still having 4 miles to go. but getting to the finish line and just this was a wonderful experience. I'm glad I did it, and I'd like to try it again, just not tomorrow.
Right, right. No time soon. Yeah.
And then, so from that though, I actually, when I moved to Myrtle Beach in 1994, I was out at the university, and I met a fellow by the name of Frank Canning with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and they were looking to start up a program called Team in Training. And that was a program whereby folks would come in and raise money. I would coach them to run a marathon, and then we'd take them to a destination. In the first year, we went to Washington, D.C. and ran the Marine Corps Marathon. And that's just, that has been a fantastic program. And from that was how the core committee got together. We were in Chicago, actually, with the folks that I mentioned earlier. And we were sitting around saying, well, why don't we bring a marathon to Myrtle Beach? And got together and started that. And through that now, since we started the Myrtle Beach Marathon, we've raised over $500,000 for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
$1 million, Shaun.
Absolutely, and still going strong. This year we've actually added the Horry County chapter of the Red Cross, so $1 for every entry fee from the marathon, the half marathon and the relay, and the 5K will go back to the Red Cross here at Horry County, as well as the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. We also, for the cycling, we've added Horry County Disabilities and Special Needs. $1 from every entry fee will go back to those folks. And then we're going to continue to give $1 back from the entry fee from the fun run to Horry County Schools. So we have a challenge there that says, well, the school that brings the most, has the most participants, we also have a travelling trophy there. And Seaside Elementary has won it every year since 2001. So the challenge is out for the other schools.
Hasn't had to travel too far.
It hasn't had to travel too far. So they've done a wonderful job. They're hoping to bring 650 kids and family members and friends this year to come down and run the fun run. So they do a wonderful job every year. And Coach Duke Brown over there gets the kids wonderfully motivated.
Yeah, Duke has that nature about him. What do you think it is about the Myrtle Beach Marathon that's been so successful, Shaun? What do you think continues to get these numbers driving through the roof?
I'd like to think that we do a good job, and I know the committee does a fantastic job, the folks that we have, and it's all about having great people and the volunteers. We're trying to be the biggest little marathon that we can. Do we aspire to hit 30,000 like a New York? Well, not right now. It would be wonderful to get there, but that takes on that's a whole different beast. But I think the comments that we get back are, one, the volunteers are fantastic. The volunteers are constantly clapping and cheering the runners on. The police do the same thing. They're happy to see the runners out there. They're always got a smile on their face. The city personnel do a wonderful job. The marathon is well organized. People don't have to come and wait in line for a long time. We try and give more out than runners expect. For instance, we have some of the local vendors come down and just provide free product constantly over the weekend. The hotels that are here, they're inexpensive. They don't have to wait when they go to restaurants.
Right.
They get great deals on oceanfront views and so forth. I think it's just really a total package, and we do have a way just to say, this is a great event, come to us, and then these folks will go off and tell other people, and that's why we keep growing. And of course the weather always cooperates.
Yeah, that's right, always magnificent.
It's always 58 degrees and overcast and with no wind. We always love that. And that's the main thing about Myrtle Beach.
That's got to be what continues to drive folks down here. What about community support? What are some of the needs you'd have even in the last 10 days? Or maybe it's prepping for the 9th annual event next year about the same time. What could someone do now?
Right now, obviously volunteers, as we spoke.
Yes.
If folks can't volunteer and they're not participating, just come out, bring a lawn chair out, come and sit at a tailgate at an intersection, come out and enjoy watching the runners go by and encourage the runners on their way. Especially later in the race for the runners when they hit miles 18 through 26. It gets tough through that area. I mean, and that area for us is going to be around 79th Avenue North, 76th Avenue, all the way down Kings Highway back to 29th Avenue, then to Grissom Parkway, then back to the Coastal Federal Field. In that area, that's where folks find it very difficult. So if the community can come out and clap and cheer and so forth, the runners love that. We're always looking for new sponsors and new ways to develop the event and to really co-market the event with sponsors and different entities in the community to drive more people to Myrtle Beach. And
sure.
We are a off-season tourism builder. We're a sports tourism builder. In 2003, Dr. Alan Case from Coastal Carolina University, he undertook an economic impact study, and he surmised that we bring in that weekend over $4 million to the community.
$4 million.
And that was about a time when we had around 4,000 participants. So now, if we hit the 6,000 to 7,000 person mark, then that number is going to be greatly enhanced. So, and during a slow time, it's a wonderful experience, and we don't make any noise.
Yes.
And the great thing is, after the event, you can drive around Myrtle Beach at around 3 or 4 o'clock on that Saturday afternoon and not even know that a marathon had been run, because the city's right there. We pick up the trash, picking up everything that we put out there, the 2,000 cones, the 500 barricades, the 14 white water stations. They've all vanished by about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Shaun, how do you go to sleep after the next weekend? I mean, how do you wind down?
Really, it's hard to wake up on Sunday morning. I know that, but it's a labor of love for everybody. We are exhausted the following week, but it's just we always hope for a job well done, and it's a great experience, and we look forward to the emails that we receive from folks afterwards. We look forward to see what's happened in the media, especially because the media gets some great perspectives of what's going on. We look forward to the phone calls and the comments and the letters and so forth that we receive. And if somebody has a comment about the event, how can we make it better, we'll try and incorporate that for the following year.
That's great. Shaun, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Okay, thanks a lot, Greg.
Definitely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Shaun Walsh coming up next. You think of commitments like the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and you recognize why a day in February of 1998, a single-day event, has turned into a 4-day event. Back then, 2,400 folks participating, now pushing almost 7,000. Folks coming in, the impact, you heard Shaun talk about it, in 2003, estimated close to $4 million, when the numbers were a couple thousand less than what they'll be this year. We're talking about an event you'd like to say on February 19th, but you can't say that anymore. Now you say February 17th through February 20th. Volunteers are still needed. You heard Shaun talk about it. The impact on the community is great, whether you're coming in from Lumberton or Laurinburg or southeastern North Carolina, all over. Make the trip down. Make it a weekend. Come spend some time in Myrtle Beach. Come support the runners who are coming from all over the country, maybe all over the world, to be here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Give them a call at 843-293-RACE. That's 843-293-7223. Or you can go online at mbmarathon.com. Come down, cheer them on.